Breaking news, Huntsville is shaking like never before because Tasha K has just dropped a video that has the entire internet in chaos. Group chats exploding and everybody's aunties FaceTiming each other like it's a national emergency. And front and center in this digital earthquake, Martell Holt, once the self-crowned king of Huntsville, now looking like someone just unplugged his confidence and threw his ego into a bargain bin. But here's the twist. The video alone isn't what sent shockwaves across social media. It's not even the suspicious nighttime driveway cameo or the "I was just passing by" energy. The real shock is Melody Shari not speaking, not clapping back, not posting a single inspirational quote or shade emoji. Silence. Pure silence. Pure silence. And somehow that quiet hit harder than any rant, interview, or courtroom scream. When Melody went silent, Huntsville didn't breathe. It panicked. Because if Melody isn't reacting, then something big, messy, and unavoidable is already in motion. So grab your popcorn, charge your phone, and get comfortable. Tonight we aren't sipping tea. We're swimming in boiling drama. The city of Huntsville had felt whispers before, but this time, the air carried something heavier. A tension that seemed to sit quietly in the corners of every living room and kitchen, where phones were clutched and screens glowed late into the night. The moment Tasha K's new video appeared, time seemed to slow down as if even the wind paused to listen. What could possibly be in this video that froze conversations and shifted the entire mood of the internet? Like a sudden storm cloud rolling over a sunny sky, people rushed to click, eyes widening when the familiar face appeared. A face once associated with power, pride, and polished charm. Now sitting behind a car window in dim streetlight, like a character in a suspense film caught between denial and destiny. Martell Holt. The man who once moved with the confidence of someone who believed the world would always bend in his direction, was now being discussed with tones of confusion, shock, and silent judgment. Was it concern? Was it ego? Was it habit? Or was it simply a moment caught at the wrong time in the wrong place? No one knew, but everyone suddenly had an opinion. And while the internet buzzed with questions, reactions, and amateur investigations, the strangest detail of all was not the video itself, but the absence of response from the one person everyone expected to speak. Melody Shari did not post a quote, did not comment, did not hint at anything. Her silence sat in the digital atmosphere like a glass wall between chaos and clarity, calm and storm. Some said silence was weakness, while others whispered that silence was strategy. And this silence felt like strength wrapped in elegance and patience. People noticed it, felt it, and started reading into it. If Melody was quiet, then something bigger must be unfolding beneath the surface. Screenshots resurfaced, conversations reignited, threads filled with theories, and Huntsville felt like it was watching the opening chapter of a story that was far from over. Anonymous voices online hinted that this type of moment had shadows in the past, and that patterns do not appear overnight. Social media detectives pulled old clips and commentary from forgotten corners of the internet as if trying to stitch together a truth that had always been there but never fully acknowledged. Through all of this noise, one thing became clear to viewers everywhere. Silence is not always surrender. Sometimes silence is the loudest answer. The night in Huntsville did not feel normal anymore, and the city somehow sensed that this moment, captured in pixels and shared across screens, was not the peak of the story, but merely the door opening to something deeper, something heavier, something that no one was prepared to face, yet everyone was waiting for in breathless anticipation. As the hours passed, the online world did not calm down. It only grew louder, more curious, more convinced that something buried was inching its way into the light. Rumors multiplied like wildfire, and suddenly everyone had seen a message, heard a whisper, or claimed to know someone who knew someone close to the situation. Anonymous accounts appeared out of nowhere, sharing what they called behind the scenes details and alleged insider voice notes that sounded like fragments of a tense history echoing through a digital hallway. Words like boundaries and control and history started floating in comment sections as viewers pieced together narratives. like detectives working a case with more instinct than evidence. Meanwhile, a voice note allegedly leaked on a fan page, where a frustrated voice sounding so similar to a familiar tone spoke about never losing, never stepping back, never being made to look weak. And this clip sent shockwaves because, whether true or not, the public had already begun shaping its own script in their minds. Screenshots appeared, titled Proof, and pages started analyzing every moment. Every picture, every old argument clip, all feeding the idea that this story was bigger than one video. People remembered the smiles that once looked perfect and began asking themselves how much perfection is ever real. They remembered interviews and scenes that once looked light and playful and now felt layered with tension that only hindsight could highlight. And through all of it, Melody remained still, like someone who had learned long ago. That silence does not weaken the truth, but protects it until the world is ready to hear it. Her absence from commentary became its own statement, and ironically, it made people speak louder on her behalf, defending her without a single word from her. Some fans claimed that they had seen this coming for years. Others said they felt a shift long before this video surfaced. And more voices joined, saying they were no longer looking at this as personal drama, but as a reflection of pride, ego, and the refusal to let peace exist when control is slipping. Meanwhile, in corners of the internet, other conversations sparked about growth, healing, and how sometimes moving on does not mean truly being left alone. A few posts suggested that when one person grows and another stays stuck in old chapters, distance becomes war even when words are not spoken. Huntsville residents who once brushed off paparazzi and bloggers now watched their city through a new lens, feeling as if a veil had been lifted and emotions once whispered behind closed doors were finally being acknowledged by the world. The video was not just content anymore. It had become a mirror reflecting the quiet battles that many live through silently. And in that stillness, something powerful began to form. A realization spreading that this moment was not just entertainment. It was a reminder that when the world expects chaos and you give them silence, you do not lose your voice. You claim your power in a way noise never could. Noise never could. And just when the city thought the noise could not get any louder, a second wave of speculation hit like a silent storm rolling in from nowhere. The kind that does not announce itself but arrives with a chilling certainty in the air. A local blogger claimed that unnamed sources close to legal circles suggested there were documents being reviewed. Documents that could shift everything if ever confirmed. People began whispering about court dates, quiet warnings, and a history of unchecked moments now finally catching up, even though nothing official had been spoken publicly. The internet treated the possibility like a countdown had begun, and every minute felt heavier than the last. Comment sections filled with talk about accountability and consequences, as if the world had grown tired of repeating cycles and wanted a turning point. Meanwhile, many noticed that Martell's usual confidence seemed to fade in every public appearance he attempted. His live sessions felt strained. His words rushed as if he was trying to outrun a narrative he could no longer control. In contrast, Melody continued to move with a calm that made people lean in closer. Watching her breathe, watching her walk, watching her smile softly without needing to prove anything. Her foundation events began attracting more attention. Women reached out saying they finally felt seen. And media outlets picked up her story not as gossip, but as inspiration drawn from quiet resilience. One evening, a clip went viral from a speaking event where she talked about letting go without hate, forgiving not for others, but for your own peace. And the audience listened as if every word was a key unlocking a locked door in their hearts. That clip alone gathered millions of views, and suddenly the conversation shifted from scandal to growth, from drama to dignity. Yet, beneath the surface, everyone knew the story was not finished. Not yet, because stories built on pride rarely end quietly. The speculation of a looming court update hung in the air like an unfinished sentence, and each day people checked timelines expecting something, anything, to drop that would confirm what they felt. Even those who once supported Martell began to soften their stance. realizing that sometimes truth is not proved in loud accusations but in how peace and chaos stand beside each other and reveal character without needing to speak. The public did not need a statement anymore. The silence itself told the story, and each passing day it felt like the power had shifted beyond repair. And as night fell on Huntsville once more, the lights twinkled over streets now filled with curiosity, sympathy, and a quiet hope that healing would win over ego. The city breathed slowly, almost cautiously, waiting for whatever would come next. Not in fear, but in certainty that truth has its own timing, and when it arrives, it does not knock. It walks straight through the door and sits at the table as if it had always belonged there in the end. What we witnessed in Huntsville was not just a moment of silence or a leaked video or a wave of speculation. It was a reminder that truth has a heartbeat, and sooner or later it refuses to stay quiet. Now the only question left is this: are we watching the fall of pride or the rise of clarity? Is this the closing of a chapter or the beginning of a reckoning? And do you believe that silence really speaks louder than any public battle ever could? I want to hear your thoughts, your theories, and your predictions, because this story is far from over and your voice matters here. So tell me, do you think more will unfold, or has justice already started its work? If you are ready for the next revelation and you do not want to miss a single twist, make sure you subscribe to BuzzVault. Turn on your alerts and stay with us as we continue to uncover what others whisper in the shadows.